and welcome back to Flowers in the Summer. The last time we were here, etiquette classes were telling us that we should eat chicken off the back of our forks like a gigantic idiot. And everybody was just getting super stressed out about it. All these new classes flying around. It's just causing all sorts of panic, frustration, stress. It's all unneeded, but, well, we are in a high-class, fancy-pants finishing school, so it's gonna do what it's gonna do, and that's still seems to be a good bit of static, a good bit of tension between Erica and Chidori, our two hapless amitié who, they're kind of making it work, kind of not. There's very much a desire for a connection there, but they are still just having a rough go of it. So hopefully we can start seeing things kind of get on the road to finding some common ground. We know it's there. We know it's there. It's just we need to get there. But as with everything with these two girls, I don't imagine we're gonna get there without some bumps in the road. So let's continue the bumping, shall we? Now that the various exams that have been looming over us are finished with, I'm able to face the tea party with a weight off my mind. The president had said we'd have a party after exams were over, but it had been easy to hear the implied, provided they all go well. If we fail an exam, then we're required to take supplementary lessons every Sunday without exception until we pass. No one would feel like attending a tea party with that dark cloud hanging over them. Which is why it all depended on things turning out okay. Fantastic.
まあな、正直課題曲のガボットを弾くのは相当苦労したぜ。ま、
I'm sure it was fine.
ガボット聞いたことない曲ですね。ゴセック作曲のバイオリン曲なんだが、多分聞いたらあーってわかると思う。ですか。
I look over to my amitié partner, the one who taught me that in the first place.
つまらなそうにしてやがるな。
Takasaki is sipping at her tea by herself, a little removed from everyone else. Even if she doesn't usually attend tea parties, it's still unusual for her to be this antisocial. As I think this, the elder Sasaki sister leans into me, her shoulders slumped and her face drained of color. Oh no! I think something didn't go well for somebody. Somebody's about to lose their Sundays. Oh. You did it! She put the chicken on the back of her fork like a normal person. Congratulations, Ichigo.
ま、確かにあれは同情するがね。
Neither the etiquette nor the music exam was a one-chance-only sort of deal. We could restart as many times as we needed to. But even though restarting from the beginning was an option,
大昔のゲームソフトみたいだったもんな。
I mutter weakly.
どういうことです？終わりがないってことさ。私もだいぶやり直しをさせられたからな。
Hey, sometimes to get that 1cc, you're not gonna get a 1cc your first time out. I let out a little sigh as I remember the pressure of performing the gavotte in front of Sister Basquiat. Ichigo pilfers her sister's donut and bites into it like it's the most delicious thing in the world. You are somebody who operates on like 90% sugar, I'm sure. I don't know, she's always struck me as the type that would enjoy a good video game. Like, I'm pretty sure she's into like hardcore shmups. I bet she plays them. Probably because of the way I've talked about them before. I mean, I'm not sure I'd call myself a gamer. I mean, nobody should. Don't do that. Don't apply that label yourself. Don't give yourself that stigma. That's terrible. Don't do that to yourself.
ま、たしなむくらいはやったかな。姉が割と好きで、その兼ね合いでね。お姉さんがいたのですね。でも羨ましいですよ。
You're envious of somebody having a sister?
何が
Ringo leans forward and sticks her finger into the middle of the donut in her sister's plate before hooking it up and stuffing it into her tiny mouth.
私としてはゲームをやってみたかった。
I definitely had friends who had that issue.
許してくれなかったのです。
Coming to my place was where they got their sanctuary, where they got to actually play some Mario. And then I introduced them to, like, you know, shit like Mortal Kombat 2. Thankfully, their parents never found out. They knew that their kids came over to my place and they knew that their kids played video games at my place, but I don't think that they ever knew, or, you know, there was no way they could really ever prove it unless they just came in and watched. They never did.
へえ。お前の家、いいところっぽいものな。
Oh yeah, this kid's parents were super well-to-do as well.
そうそう。人を殺したりするゲームとか良くないって許してくれなかったよね。
Those are the most fun ones. Looking at the elder Sasaki twin, her cheeks stuffed with donut, I can't help but laugh as I recall my own elder sister's arguments with our mother.
どうしたの？いや、同じことを姉も言われてたなと思ってさ。だけど、そっちの祖母と同じことを言った母に姉は、でも、そんな一言じゃ聞いてくれなくない？ああ、だから続けて。私、男の子を攻略していくゲームを
Yeah, that's a pretty good argument.
一度も彼氏できたことないもん。
But I mean, I guess with that gambit, you just run the limit of your parents saying, you know what? Then you're not gonna play anything at all. Because, you know, parents rarely ever use logic to you know, or rationale to dole out how they want to raise their kids, or like protect them from the, or quote unquote protect them from the things that they think they're protecting them from. So it's literally just, well, I'm the parent and I say you don't get to do this now. So even if, like, she did beat her parents with this amazing feat of logic, it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna go the way that she thought it would. My sister had declared how that proved that there was no relation between the two. I chuckle as I recall how wide my mom's eyes had gotten, and the Sasaki twins giggle too.
なんだか楽しそうね。身内の恥ずかしい話を披露したところだよ。委員長は試験はなんとか合格したわ。
She answers modestly.
アミティエの高崎さんも第二外国語合格したようだしよかったわね。あいつにも取り柄がある。ん？見た目よりも頭がいい。それって初めはダメだって思ってたってことじゃない。
I mean, she responds cynically. I gaze at my amitié partner, who's still sipping on her iced tea in stony silence.
一応羽を伸ばしに来たってことかね。ああ、そうそう。羽を伸ばすで思い出したけど。スオさんがみんなへ提案があるそうなの。
What's she got in mind? The president beckons to her and Shirahane gracefully gets to her feet.
以前、コミカド先輩から秘密の泉の場所を教えてもらったことがあるの。
Oh, damn! I think I actually...
そこへ行くというのは
I think for the first game, I made a bit of a mistake here when I was going through and getting the other ending, in that I very stubbornly, like, we don't need the other scenes. They're not important. The scenes that you get that aren't the main ending, which I know now the folly of my ways. And there was a scene where Komikado and Suo ended up at the secret natural pool together, and then this weirdly horny Komikado ended up playing like the most like intense game of footsie with Suo in the pool. It was pretty wild. It was a very brazen and outwardly gesture that I just was like, completely caught me off guard. But we don't have video evidence of that because I was kind of a dummy. Don't like push yourself to make videos if you're not feeling it, kids. You'll get to a point where you're like, I'll just I'll cut a few corners. And I wish I had not cut the corners and left out those few extra scenes. I may go back and throw them in there. I might not. I don't know. Why am I talking about this now? Shirahane makes her suggestion, and my classmates all agree that it sounds like fun. So this is basically like the beach episode. Are we gonna do a makeshift beach episode? If you wear a skimpy swimsuit. In reply to the excited twin, I say,
それじゃあ、際どい水着を着てくるなら言ってやるよ。目の保養だ。
This grin of hers has so many meanings, and right now it means lecherous old man. She's thinking about it. Red blotches blossom across her cheeks, but then her expression quickly becomes troubled. That's what they say everywhere I go. Like every place that I go, like I'm at Walmart talking to the cashier and she's just like, you know, they say that to become better friends, you've got to eat from the same bowl and bathe in the same water as near naked as possible. And I was just like, I can't disagree. I was just telling this guy in the chicken aisle. There's a chicken aisle, right? I was telling this guy in the chicken aisle the same thing. We were just having, everybody's just saying it. It's all over. They both look up at me simultaneously. Oh, get out of here! Get out of here! Erica, you gigantic liar! You have been so horned up for the last 10 episodes. There is nobody in this school hornier than you right now. I am 100% convinced. And Yuzuriha exists at this school. I tell them I'll pass on this one, but then... Well, there you go. I hear a cool voice behind me. Yeah! Come on along. It'll be bonding. That's not very nice. I think you should just let her do it. The president, the Sasakis, and everyone else is staring at my Amitie partner in astonishment. I'm in the same boat as them. What is she thinking?
Amitie が参加するのだもの。エリカも参加するわよ。ねえ。いや、泳げないし無駄じゃ。雰囲気だけでも楽しめるでしょ。いつも文句を言わず、解除してくれる私をねぎらいなさい。
Damn, okay, yeah, like she's got you there. She's got you there, homie. Sorry. It's a very firm argument. I'm about to answer it when...
恩知らずにはなりたくない。
Yeah, jeez, just locks it in. It's like, she had this one door to the left for wiggle room that she could slink her way out, and then she just slams that shit shut. She delivers her finishing blow. All I can do is nod. We're going to the beach! We're going to the beach! Not all of our classmates take part in the excursion to the lake. We didn't draw sprites for them, so it's just gonna be the main cast mostly. The timing of it overlaps with our summer vacation. We're granted just a few days to visit home. Because of the short time frame, those students who live far from the academy have remained at the dorms, while the other half of the class has returned home. And of the half staying behind, it's only the few who think about splashing around on the lake sounds like fun who've sneaked out. Oh, we're just doing this undercover.
なんだか楽しくなさそうね。お茶会での経緯を知ってるだろうが。
I grumble to the president who's pushing my wheelchair.
こんなに暑い中、延々と森の中を行きたくないって話だよ。だから私が推しているでしょ。それでも暑いのは変わらないだろうが。お前は家に帰らなくてよかったのかよ。
I got a feeling most of the people in the main cast just don't have a lot of reasons to want to go home. I'm just kind of feeling like that right now.
私は家が遠いから戻ってもほとんど休めないし、それにみんなで水遊びって素敵じゃない?
That was definitely one of the weird things about college, is just like, you could go home on the weekend, but if you live far enough away and you're gonna spend like anything over like an hour getting home, and it's just like, ugh, it's not worth it.
そうかね。私は寮でゴロゴロしてたかったよ。とある漫画家音体も大物は寸暇を惜しんで寝るものだ。
Nearly any manga artist you asked would probably say that, given the absolutely insane schedules that I know manga artists have to live on. The Prez laughs. I guess she thinks I'm joking. She takes a second to check that no one's getting too far behind of the group or lagging behind.
でもみんな参加してくれてよかったわ。女は縦じゃなくて横のつながりだからな。
I kind of stand outside all of that myself, but I suppose I had been scared of being left out. Also,
お前らも参加してることは驚きだけどな。何が驚きなのですか? そうだよ。遊びに行くって言ったじゃん。
yeah, like if anybody's gonna go rooting around in anything that could be even the least bit adventurous, it's these two. The elder Sasaki sister declares that she'll take over pushing my wheelchair and takes the handlebars from the president. She starts pushing at a faster pace, and the chair jolts as she mows straight over any pebbles in her path. Her personality shines through even in this.
お前らは家に戻ると思っていたよ。初めはそのつもりだったけど、みんなと一緒の夏はあと2回しか巡らないと思うともったいない気がしたのですよ。
Yeah, I think that's another good reason to stay. Like, you're already kind of like locked into this little social group that you've created, and you've only got 3 years to kind of hang out with each other, so I think it is best to kind of spend as much time and enjoy this time with one another as possible. Just 2 more summers, huh? Takasaki and Shirahane are walking about 5 paces behind us. From time to time, Shirahane says something to my amitié partner, who looks extremely grumple-dumpy.
あれ頃には考えられない光景だよな。
The unlikely, no, nigh on unimaginable sight of my introverted bookworm buddy taking the lead in talking to someone. Shirahane. She's had to endure a lot of pain, but perhaps that's necessary to help her grow as a person. Grow?
らしくない考えを巡らせて
Oh, somebody's getting real introspective now. Somebody sees somebody making strides and is maybe feeling just a little bit insecure on their own progress. I ignore the Sasaki sisters' bewildered looks and then turn back toward Takasaki.
機嫌悪そうだな。
I call out to her loudly.
面倒なら戻ってバレエの自主練でもしてたらどうだ? 楽しみにしていると言ったでしょ?
Even though she hasn't raised her voice, her tone is rapier sharp.
なんで家に戻らないかな?
I guess she has her reasons, same as me. I look at her, her eyes narrowed into what seems like a glare inside of myself. Hey, nice. We arrive at Shirahane's secret pool.
思ったよりもいいところじゃない
No, this isn't where. I don't think this is where Kamikado and Suo came. I think they were somewhere else, because this is where Sister Basquiat came, I believe, with Suo. That's probably it. It's been a few months, okay? You gotta give me a break here. The greenery is lush and verdant, and though the summer sun is still beating down hard, the pool looks shallow and perfect for swimming. There's also a boat moored to a little jetty.
もしかして秘密のデート
Oh, I would not doubt that many a girl in this school's storied history have shared many a romantic moments on this dock. Kamikado Senpai had built it as a secret natural pool. Perhaps that's the reason it's kept secret. I wipe away my sweat and quickly make my way across the shade to the shade tree. A sigh of relief escapes my lips as I enter the tree's shadow. Cool air caresses my neck. Despite the heat, it's not too humid. This area is a popular summer resort with people looking to escape the sun, and if you can find some shade, it's really quite pleasant. Starting to relax when... What? Someone addresses me from behind. I turn around. Wow! That's a great sound! I accidentally let out a weird garbled noise that we are going to listen to a number of times. This is a wonderful sound. That's like the more you hear it, like the less human it sounds. That's pretty good.
Nani? どうしたの?
Oh! You just down to the bare essentials, I suppose.
いや、まさか下着姿とは思わなかった。大胆だな、おい。
Look at her, she's so embarrassed.
八重垣ちゃんが野獣のような目で見てる。
It is a wolfish look. It is a very wolfish look.
やはり八重垣ちゃんは選ばれし人間だったのですね。
Yep. Definitely a girl of peculiar tastes.
誰が委員長と同類だって。
Yes. Absolutely they are. Absolutely I am. Absolutely anybody watching this. Absolutely. I regard the twins warily. They're both wearing the standard school issue underwear, putting aside the completely unsexy culottes.
お前らを見ると落ち着くな。なぜか腹立たしさを感じる視線ですね。そんなに生温かい目で胸を見られたら嫌でも気づくって。
The lukewarm look you're giving my boobs. Confirming that their little houses on the prairie aren't so different to mine, I nod in satisfaction.
もう着替え終わったの。早いわね。
Prez says, approaching us. She's fine. In fact, she's in the same boat as us. However,
気持ちのいい風が吹くわね。
when I see my bookworm buddies strolling towards us with the president, I feel the pain of the have-nots versus the haves.
同じ年でこんなに違うもんかね。
え？
どうしたの？
I don't know. Shirahane bends over like she's talking to a child, giving me an eye full of her frustratingly mountainous twin peaks. Frustratingly mountainous twin peaks. The writing in this series is just absolutely poetic. Both of my sisters and my mother are very slender. It runs in the family. I know there's nothing I can do about it, but I can't stop a black hole of jealousy from gaping open within me at the sight. Nothing. Nothing's bothering. Nothing at all.
自分の将来に。女は14歳くらいで成長が止まるって言うけど、あれは上背だけだよな。
Well, you're what, 14, I imagine? So you still got 4 more years of estrogen to kind of do its thing.
何があったの？ずいぶん暗い顔をしているけど。何か将来に関わることで。
Yeah, she's very worried about her future. She takes hold of my shoulder and gives me a firm shake, and I come out of my reverie to find Prez's face looming in on mine.
将来のことに思いを馳せるのは素晴らしいことだけど、
Ever so
気に
earnest.
しすぎるのはダメよ。
Ever so
何事も中庸
earnest.
がいいのよ。同類のお前に言われたかないよ。
Seeing the president blink at me in confusion brings me back to my senses, and I apologize. I'd taken her comments rather differently. For what? It's a very Erica answer. Undress me. I suddenly have the sadistic urge to put my bookworm buddy on the spot after she forced those envy-inducing twin peaks into my field of... After she forced those envy-inducing twin peaks into my field of vision. Little House on the Prairie. Little Houses on the Prairie and Twin Peaks. This is where we're at.
それじゃあ脱がせてくれよ。え、脱がせ。
Ah! She's done. She's over. It's over for poor Suo Shirahane.
そうだ。お前の手で脱がしてくれってことだよ。解除だ。できるだろう。
I lift my arms up encouragingly. Her cheeks flush scarlet as she practically stumbles backwards.
どうした？ほら早く。
It's awful demanding.
そんなこと。
Oh, she can't. She can't.
解除だって何も恥ずかしがることなんてない。なあ。
I look to her for support and she nods, her face bright red. I lower my arms.
冗談だって。気が向いたら自分でするさ。
I turn my feline smile on her, leaving her baffled. Good one. Oh, shit. Oh, are we going back to, Chidori point of view? The shadows of the leaves sway across the ground. Big shadows and small shadows, deep shadows and soft shadows. So many different shadows, all moving individually. Faced with the sudden visual overload, I narrow my eyes. The sunlight filtering through the canopy above paints strange patterns on the ground. I stare down at my feet, wondering if this is what true art is. The way they swirl and distort makes me feel ill. I'd be happy just knowing which is the real deal, the natural or the man-made. Why did I come here? Because I gaze at my amitié partner in the distance, surrounded by her classmates. Because of my amitié partner, who reminds me so much of that girl. I've started calling her Erica because of that resemblance too. Just what is it about them that I find similar? They're total opposites in terms of personality. It's not as though they look alike either. The wind tousles my hair, and the branches of the trees are thrown into disarray. The shadows grow and shrink, by turns getting darker and lighter. The scene before me contorts, like it's closing in on me, and I shut my eyes. For some reason, I can hear my old ballet teacher's voice echoing in my head. My hands go limp, and my notebook slips from my grasp. I pick it up from where it drops at my feet and flip through it. Without it, I wouldn't be able to tell what I like and don't like. All those times I faked illness, hoping my parents would pay me some attention. Even the ballet was an attempt to get them to turn and look at me. Oh. I think we're starting to understand a bit about why this girl is the way she is. Who am I? The smell of the grass and the scent of the water, the swirling patterns underfoot, enclosed by the swaying shadows. I feel terribly light. Ignoring the hollow feeling in my chest, I turn the pages until I come across words I didn't write and stare at them in bewilderment. Notes on Italian, our second language, are scribbled on the page. I turn to the next page and find, written in a neat hand, notes on areas that might come up on the test, and the correct answers to questions that are easy to get wrong. They're all explained in a clear, legible fashion. Nauseous from the undulations of the leaves, I finally become aware. Aware of the feelings for Erica that burn inside me. Feelings quite unlike the childish emotions I direct toward my parents or the dependence I felt for her. For the girl who idolized me unconditionally. Well, okay.
たまには怪獣映画もいい。童心を取り戻す。
Anybody see Godzilla -1? I haven't seen it yet! I need to get on that.
私はゴジラ対モスラが好き。
That's funny that Godzilla came up too.
わかってるな。姉はリバイバル版の方がいいって。
Shirahane pulls a face like she's just bitten down on a lemon, and the uncharacteristic expression makes me laugh.
だよな。
The president then taps her on the shoulder and leads her into the shade of a tree a short distance away.
なんだよ。乙女の語らいを邪魔する気か？
Damn.
乙女のする会話じゃないでしょ？
That doesn't matter. It's still a conversation between two refined ladies. I'm not sure I have an answer for that. I watch for a while as she speaks in a low voice with Shirahane. What? We should what? We should friends again? After they've exchanged a few words, Shirahane glances in my direction and departs. The president comes back to join me in her place.
お話ししましょう。
What are we going to talk about? The way she says it sounds highly suspicious.
心を閉ざしたサナトリウムの少女じゃないんだぞ。そんなつもりはないわ。ただ最近八重垣さんとお話ししていないなって。試験勉強があったからな。ブレインとしては試験落とせないものな。脳がどうしたの？
My comment was naturally based on my understanding of the class's hierarchy, but the president just blinks at me, obviously unaware of our positions in it. I let slip a small sigh of resignation and cast around for another topic.
怪獣映画だが、委員長が好きなやつは？
I don't think she's into many of them at all.
怪獣？何？いや、すまない。無理を言うところだったよ。
The president tilts her head at me, her braids trembling.
なんだって。
What? I feel a tap on my shoulder and let out a strange squeak when I see my amitié partner, who has at some point gotten changed, no, undressed. She's standing there in her underwear.
水遊びしたいのよね。
I mean...
何を言って。
What? I don't know.
したいのでしょ？
She looms over me. The scent of peaches is overwhelming. She moves closer, though she's not considerate enough to crouch down and talk to me like Shirahane does. Her cleavage, even more ample than my bookworm buddies, fills my vision. I flush all over at the sight.
近いんだよ、お前は。
I shout, trying to cover up my blushes, but she pays me no heed. She quickly moves behind me and motions for me to put my hands up.
ああ、西部劇ごっこか。お前、年いくつだと。同い年でしょ？
She forces my arms up just as she does when she's assisting me. With everyone else watching from the sidelines, my defenses are obliterated and I must endure a total rout. Damn, my clothes are forced off. And then I find myself scooped up into her arms, only to be plonked down by the water's edge. Aww. Aww, that's cute. We're having a moment. We're gonna have a cute little moment on the dock. We're gonna get serious. We're gonna have real amitié time. This is going well. I'm angry, but I swallow it down. Because I see the way Takasaki is gazing into the distance beside me. Perhaps it's an overly favorable interpretation on my part, but I wonder if she's trying to apologize in her own clumsy way. The way she's been knitting her brows together is very familiar, as is the way she's pursing her lips. Yeah, and I think that she sees a lot of that same thing in you. There's a whole lot of like, I see you and me and you see me and you kind of going on here.
水遊び楽しんでいるかしら。かなり強引に誘われはしたが、まあ楽しんでいるよ。そう。
After this brief exchange, we fall silent again. It feels weird having my feet immersed in the water like this. It could be a scene out of a horror movie or a romance novel, but this is the first time I've had my feet in warm water outside of a bath. It's actually really uplifting as well as being kind of ticklish. I was kind of wondering the nature of her disability because I know that like it sounds like she has like a partial, not like partial as in like she probably can't move her legs much, if at all, which I'm pretty sure it's not at all. But she has retained some level of feeling, which usually I think isn't the case for most like paralysis type injuries or whatever caused her to be the way she is. It's just kind of interesting that they're just now kind of talking about this when I feel it's just like, oh, okay. Because I had been wondering about that, but I wasn't sure if we were going to kind of get any details on the nature of her disability or not, so. And I guess that when Yuzuriha kind of like sat on her, she did feel like the pressure against her legs. So yeah, I think it's like a partial paralysis where she is paralyzed, but she can still feel, at least to some degree.
言っただけだ。足がつかない場所で水に浸かるなんざ、ぞっとしないぞ。
Takasaki makes to stand up and I hold her back. She complies with me so obediently that I can't help but smirk. If I were to tell her to get naked right now, I wonder if she might not do it. She stares solemnly down at the surface of the water, watching as it glitters in the sunlight. The light reflecting off the water plays against her face, and I find myself staring, spellbound, at her handsome features. I mean, that's a very good way of flirting, I guess. Usually she'd come back with something sarcastic or flare up at me, but this time she just continues staring at the water. It's kind of disconcerting. I feel like I should start a conversation and consider talking about the weather today, or fashion, or launching into a comedic anecdote.
そういえば少し前のことだけどな。小腹が減ったんで厨房へ食料を失敬しに行ったんだよ。
I settle on the anecdote.
いつもは調理人に分けてもらうんだが、その時は誰もいなかったんだ。だから冷蔵庫を開けて何か食べられるものはないか探したんだよ。
She doesn't respond but appears to be listening.
で、冷蔵庫の中を漁ってたら、ステンレスのボウルにみじん切りした
Oh god, you didn't just like eat onion, did you? That's rough.
そのラップの上にメモが置かれてあったんだよ。
Oh, that's cute.
もうお前を泣かせたりはしない。
That's pretty funny. Someone must have felt bad for the cook who prepared our dinners every night and cut up the onion for her. I go on to tell her how my outburst of laughter had led to the dorm mother discovering me and how I'd then gotten a giant scolding. However, no selling that shit. The Sasaki sisters are always interrupting my conversations, and Yatsushiro-senpai has an uncanny habit of popping up unexpectedly. But where are they when I need them the most?
風が出てきたわね。そうだな。
Takasaki finally speaks, but I can't think of anything to say to her in return.
白羽の口下手が映っちまったか。
No, I think you're just kind of trying to work at. You are trying to puzzle her out because I think it's like Hedgehog's dilemma, where I think both of you are kind of in a point right now where you think anything you say to the other one is probably going to hurt them, so you're just not sure what to say. I think of my bookworm buddy and how hard she worked to make friends despite finding it such a struggle. And it strikes me now how impressive an endeavor that was. I'm not capable of the same. I think you are, and I think you're just doing it in a more silent and progressive manner.
何？いや。
I remember how, at the end of the case of the disappearing bunnies, when I'd announced who the real culprit was, I'd said you couldn't perform a handshake with just one hand, and held my own hand out.
にも遠く感じるな。
I muttered to myself. Then, copying Takasaki, I too glared down at the annoyingly sparkly water. Yeah, I think they're just having trouble because they just think no matter what they say to each other, it's just gonna kind of cause a problem. So they're just like, I think we're absolutely at a point now where they want to connect. Like they absolutely do. I mean, it's very clear that Chidori does, but again, she doesn't know how to do it. Like she's just like doesn't know what to say because I think they both just think they're gonna hurt each other. Looks like a fail, although I can't hear what they're saying from the distance. I can read it from the movement of their lips and the expressions on their faces. I push my chair over to the president, twirling her braids around with a deeply troubled look, and my frowning bookworm buddy.
英国王のスピーチのつもりか。
I'm tempted to put this to my bookworm buddy, who's obviously treating this like some sort of therapy session. However,
高崎さん、少しいいかしら。
yeah, I'll do it. Like sneaking off again? I can't tell her just to drop it when, out of the goodness of her heart, she's come up with a second makeup plan for us. Instead, I speak to the prez, who's playing with her braids awkwardly.
なんで人のためにあんなに一生懸命になれるのかね。白羽だよ。別にあいつと私の仲違いなんていつものことだろ。放っておいても時が解決する。
She mutters her agreement, but then, affectionately, watching the two of them talking over by the boat, she continues.
きっと理由なんてものは
That's
ないんだと思う。
just who she is.
ただのおせっかいってことか。ええ、スオさんは自分を捨てて他人を心配できる
Yeah,
人な
like
の。
she's very clearly somebody who puts everybody ahead of herself. She's such a good person. She smiles broadly, and I find that I can't say anything in response. I think the same goes for me, however.
人と人との間に線を引く私には耳が痛い話だな。
I look over at the Sasaki sisters, who at some point managed to draw closer to me, and Hanabishi, who's always trying to help me out, as well as Shirahane and Takasaki, who are now walking this way.
なんで得意げな顔なんだよ。白羽さんはいい人だわ。
Yeah, she is. She says this with such a composed expression, I almost want to burst out laughing. Shirahane also blinks in surprise at her frank words.
提案があるのだけど。
Yeah? What's your little proposal?
言ってみろ。
All I wanna do is drag you down. All I wanna do is stab you out. She raises her hand like Lincoln delivering the Declaration of Independence and points to the boat moored by the shore.
ボート遊びがしたいわ。すればいいだろう。エリカも一緒に。
Oh! We're gonna have a boat date. The words are delivered as sharply and directly as a katana being drawn, and all I can do is nod. Yo, we're gonna have a boat ride!
ボートなんて初めて乗ったわ。
Aww. Again, like this is a moment you see in the opening, and it's still just like really effective because it's actually still really good in context with the story. I immediately take issue with this casual revelation of the truth as my amitié partner lies back and stares up at the blue sky.
お前仕事で何回か経験があるから任せてって言っただろうが。嘘よ。初めて乗るなんて言ったらついてこないでしょ。
That's a good point. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, no shit. I glare at her out of the corner of my eye. She flashes me a rare smile in return.
湖の真ん中で妙な笑顔を向けるな。怖いだろうが。大丈夫よ。突き落として見殺しになんかしないぞ。
She doesn't usually make jokes, and this sends a little chill up my spine. I remember that popular ghost story about a young couple whose child drowns in a boating accident. They have another child, and one day when they're boating again, it turns to them and says, "Don't drop me this time." Even at the best of times, I'm not good with huge mountains I can't see past, or deep seas where I can't make out the bottom. Brr. Of course, the same goes for a deep, dark lake like this. Takasaki smiles, perhaps having sensed my unease.
この湖を深い緑色の湖面を見て思い出したことがあるの。
That's a great thing to be
ステ
reminded
ィーブン
of.
キングの映画よ。
This is absolutely the most non-stressful boat date ever.
クリープショーの殺人以下だろ。こういうタイミングで思い出すんじゃねえよ。
It's a film about some teens under attack from a mysterious killer algae. It seems she's been brushing up on her 80s pop culture like I told her to, but it's an unwelcome reference given our current situation. In the short movie, there's a scene with someone sprawled out sunbathing on a raft, just like we are now. I look over at Takasaki, who's still smiling creepily.
行きたいって騒いでいた水遊びだ。堪能できたかい？
I changed the subject.
ええ。泳ぎはしなかったけど、森林浴ができて満足しているわ。この暑いのに森林浴もないもんだ。泳ぎはしなかったって。映画を思い出して臆病風にでも吹かれたのかい？
She doesn't respond to my taunt and instead glances down at her chest.
自慢かよ。え、ああ、そうじゃないわ。泳いでないって言葉で思い出したのよ。胸、また
This girl's been dealing with this all day. I don't know that this is where you like. That's it. I'm pushing you out of the boat now.
へえ、そいつは宣戦布告としてみなしていいってことだな。何を言っているの？バレエでは邪魔だからこれ以上はいらないって話よ。
Good point.
見栄えが悪くなるってやつか。
I recall some info I learned from my eldest
胸
sister.
が大きすぎるとサラシを巻いたりするって聞くものな。ええ、まだそこまでではないけど気をつけているの。
You're keeping an eye on them. Don't worry, Erica is too. She rubs her upper arms as she says this. She must have applied sunscreen. Sunscreen? Or a sun cream. Okay, I thought it said sunscreen like Starscream, but no, I've never seen it as... I've always seen it as sunscreen, not sun cream. Trip me up there!
もともと色黒だった場合も衣装で開いている胸元とか二の腕とかを化粧で白くしてごまかすとかも聞いたことがあるな。だがお前は
When I tell her it doesn't look like she needs it, I think I see her smile. It could just be my imagination, though.
ま、水遊びよりこういう場所に来たならキャンプの方に触手が動くね。以前やった収穫
Hell yeah, barbecue in the
バーベ
woods.
キューなんかもいい。
Sign me up for that shit.
キャンプ、私も一度くらいなら経験してみたいわ。
Hey, we can add things to our list. We've got 3 years. We got 3 whole years. We can add that to the list.
お前はキャンパーというよりグランパーってな具合になりそうだな。
She asks me what glamping is, and I respond.
キャンパーもどきのことだよ。Wi-Fi を使って自然と親しむってやからのことさ。何しに来たんだおい。ってな具合でね。必ず軽口を言うのよね。
Her gaze isn't exactly irritated, but it's definitely reproving. A shrug and fall silent. The sky is a bright shade of blue. Every so often, a lone cloud drifts by. The only sounds are the warbling of the birds from the shore and the soft creak of the boat as it rocks in the water until...
ノート。
Oh,
あ？私のノート。勝手に書いたでしょ。
don't know what you're talking about, Chief. Her tone is a mix of discomfort, anger, and confusion. I nod, even as I regret my out-of-character actions.
勝手に私物に触っちまったの。すまない。いいのよ。怒っているわけじゃないの。
There's nothing I can say to that. I'm the one who told her not to touch the books on my shelf when we first started sharing a room. Takasaki glares up at the clouds for a moment, then turns her face to me as though she's finding the silence awkward. Her eyes bore into me. Her face is flushed red and to the tips of her ears. She opens her mouth nervously.
今まで意固地になっていてごめんなさい。
Oh.
それと
Oh, it's
Arigato.
so good.
何よ。いや。
Usually, this is when I'd start thinking over things like how Shirahane's deductions are always on the mark, or how she must have had some kind of ulterior
気
motive.
にしてないさ。
She so easily crossed every line I draw between myself and other people, and my mind isn't functioning properly.
よかった。
Oh,
今日ここへ来たのはそれだけ言いたかったの。
that's sweet as hell. I'm envious of her ability to be so forthright. It's not something I'm capable of. Or am I?
私も約束破っちまって悪かったの。
She's trying.
今謝っ
Nope, didn't hear a thing.
私が謝ったなんて誰にも
I
言うな
really
よ。
will push you out of the boat. I grind out the words, but for some reason she smiles happily at them. It's not a sight I see too often, and I find myself entranced by it. Despite the fact that she's built walls around herself to keep others out, just like me, here she now is flashing me this totally unguarded girlish smile.
歌が聞きたい。
Oh my god. I'm crossing a line of my own here. I know that.
いいわ。
Oh, like there it is. There's like the connection. Like they've both kind of finally truly like reached across that line. She does as I ask. No sarcastic comments, no cool retort.
ねえ、夢でまた会えますようにそっと願う花膨らむつぼみ胸に抱いた
That song, which I once found so
初め
sad.
てのこと揺れる微熱いい曲だな千鳥
Now shines brightly into the core of my being like the rays of the summer sun. Whew! That was good! Man, that was good!
グリム童話に
There's a story in Grimm's fairy tales called Fran Hole.
とある家に
A woman shares her house with her lazy daughter and her beautiful, hard-working stepdaughter. She spoils her biological daughter while treating her stepdaughter harshly.
親は実の娘
It's
を
like
可愛がり
Cinderella.
ママ子には辛く当たっていたある日ママ子は
One day, the stepdaughter is washing her spindle in the well when she accidentally drops it. When she informs her mother, she is ordered to retrieve it.
取ってくるように命じられ途方に暮れてしまった思い余ったママ子は
Not knowing what else to do, the stepdaughter flings herself into the well and loses consciousness.
ふと気がつく
When she wakes up, she finds herself in a beautiful meadow. Walking across it, she ultimately arrives at the house of a woman
一
named
軒の
Frau
家に
Hole.
たどり着く
Frau Hole? Frau
そこ
Hole?
は惚れおばさんと呼ばれるもの
Okay, I'm
の
gonna
家
say Frau Hole. Treated as an equal for the first time in her life, the stepdaughter happily agrees to stay at the house in Frau Holle's service. However, she eventually grows homesick. When she tells Frau Holle this, the woman gives her back the spindle she had dropped and allows her to return home clad in gold as a reward for her service. Jealous of her stepdaughter's newfound riches, the mother orders her other daughters to do the same and return with their own prize of gold. However, the lazy daughter is unable to serve Frau Holle adequately, and as a punishment, Frau Holle sends the girl home coated in tar, enchanted, so that she can never wash it off. That's fucked up. The message is fairly straightforward. The earnest and the hardworking among us will be rewarded. There's no proof that that's really the way of the world, though. And it absolutely isn't. We know it isn't. We've seen enough of the world to know that it's definitely not. No matter how honestly you live or how much kindness you show towards others, there are some wishes that can never be granted. The story that begins now is that of the fools struggling to claim their just compensation for living honest lives. Oh man, that digs in, doesn't it? Ooh, that just digs into your heart. Ooh. So wow, we are late in the game now. We are getting deep into this. So yeah. Woo. That was a good one. Holy crap. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go ahead and stop there. That was just like, holy crap, you just come out of an episode where it's literally nothing, but you're smiling the whole time. Not a thing went wrong there. And oh boy, talk about all the progress made there. Just like Chidori and Erika, again, finally reaching across that line somehow. And like, I don't know, like, you know, like how you follow that up. That feels like that would be the climax. You know, you had the cool CG and the boat and everything, but now it's just like, okay. So yeah, we will find out where the rest of this goes once we are together next time. So of course, thank you as always for watching. I hope you have a nice rest of your whatever, and we'll catch you next time.